All right, everybody, how are you? TGIF, happy Friday. My name is Jeff, swing trade warrior with warriortrading.com, a resident swing trader over there. It is finally Friday, but because I like to have my weekend somewhat to myself, I do my watch list Friday night. And because I'm not biased in my trading, I'm able to not worry too much about what Asia's doing and the influence it might have on on our open come Monday. I look for long and short opportunities. Obviously, we'll take some of the more macro conditions into account. I have a chart of the S&P up. It's a daily chart here. We've been testing this 200 area for a long time. If you follow my videos at all, you know I've been saying that it's really just going to be a chop fest until we can get through this resistance area with some kind of authority. Today we had our first close above the 200 moving average since back on December 29th. So it's a really big deal here. Next stop or next test here is going to be to the 205 spot. I suspect we'll see some trading between 200 and 205. All things considered, though, the market's in a very bullish position right now. And I'm not so sure that we're going to be testing these lows again anytime soon. Of course, that's all subject to change in a moment's notice, but we are in a much more bullish market right now, and therefore there are going to be more long biased setups, but I have some good short ones too. We'll flip through some of those charts now. As always, if you guys have any questions, pop them into the box there. If I don't get to them in time, you can always email me, jeff@warriortrading.com. I'm always happy to answer your questions. I never stop working, and I get a good thrill out of helping people, especially if you can avoid some of the costly mistakes that I made when I first started trading. So let's get into it here. The first name I came up with that I'm going to be looking at for a swing here is going to be IPHI. This has been a name we've had on watch before. I don't know that we've traded it at all recently, but you can see overall it's in a very strong trend going back to 2014 here. It is definitely definitely trending higher. We have a all-time high here at just under 33 bucks. So looking here at the recent price action, we have along with the rest of the market here, we have this nice bullish move up off of the bottom from the $22 area, and we're testing this $28 resistance spot. You can see on the TAS market, the TAS boxes here, there's a 28 resistance. Pretty obvious the spot. This resistance area has been in play for quite some time, so it was support back in October, support again in early December, and then now it's acting as resistance in January again here in March. So we got to get through this $28 area. I do like the strength of the chart. I like that it had this sharp move up, but we did have this healthy pullback here to support along the 20 and 50 EMAs. We had a nice pullback. Oops. Right in there somewhere. Nice pullback to support in here. You can see it was support and resistance back here. It's also in play right here. So nice little move up off this pivot. We broke the bear flag. Now we got to get back up over the top here. So going to look for a small starter position on this. Excuse me, over the 27.75 area or so, and I'm going to look to scale into this trade as it moves towards this 28 area resistance, and I'll look to add over the $28 area. First target on this trade, first target on this trade is probably going to be $29.50. That's going to be the overall target, I think. Again, keep in mind we're going to be scaling out along the way. This only has a $1.17 ATR, so it'll probably take a couple days to get there. We're looking to take our profits on the way of the move here. So, or while this is moving, we're not going to just buy it here and then hold and sell when it hits $29.50. We'll be in and out on that entire trip. So that's IPHI. That's the first name we have on watch. Very strong stock in a strong market. So that's what we like to see. OI, very similar setup here. I had this on short watch the other day. I did not get filled. I had a put spread I was looking to get filled on with this. I did not get filled, and as such, this thing ended up selling off here again. Came down to support, and now it's ramping back up to get back to this resistance area at 15, I don't know, just under 1550 here. So what we like here is that it pulled back to support, held support, and then definitely is testing or trading between the 20 and the 50 EMA. I like this for a long over that level. I think I have a long entry marked here for long entries over 1481, and again we're going to scale into this one because it's a mid. It's not a clean breakout trade, right? This is a pullback trade, so we're getting this on the pullback. We're going to scale in once we have confirmation of the move. We're going to look for candle over candle. We'll definitely add to this trade over 15 bucks. Target here ultimately would be to get it to about the $17 area, or just under the $17 area where it was back at the beginning of the year. So if we can get it there in a couple days, that'd be sweet. It's very liquid stock, very nice setup here. It's not too volatile, so it should give us a nice opportunity to snag a decent profit here if we take a little bit more size, capitalizing on its liquidity. Okay, that's OI. Third name I have on watch, again, I've had this name on watch like 3 times this year, CSII. Keep missing it, missing my timing on it. But this thing has been popping. Ooh, no. There it is, CSII. This thing keeps popping around here. We see that ever since it gapped down back in January's earnings event, this thing has kind of traded sideways and is finally putting in a move back up here off the 7.5 lows. So we have room into the gap somewhere towards $12, under 12, just under 12 bucks somewhere. We got another solid move up off the bottom here from 7.5 bucks to about 11. Little pullback to support, and now we're curling back up for the move back up and over the 50 moving average here, over this resistance top from a couple weeks ago or week ago, and hopefully back into the gap. So that's our target on this trade. We're looking to make our money here in this box. Okay, so that's our profit zone. We're going to hit resistance at just under 12 bucks, like I said. But again, we have a little over point and 3/4 here that we can profit on. We're going to scale into this trade as well. We're going to take a long starter position over 1025, and we're going to add over 1071. 1071 happens to be this little peak right here, which is the high of this whole move since this thing has gapped down. So we break over that, we'll start to see some shorts cover, and we could see a nice squeeze back up to $12. These blue lines right here are the TAS market map. It measures volume at each price point. So the longer the lines, that means the more volume is traded at that price level. This yellow line is the longest, and that's the point of contention where the most volume is traded in this whole time frame. It's a 100-day market map. And it's, I believe it's a 100-day market map. And so the yellow line tells us that at the 851 price in the last 100 days, more volume is traded at that price than any of the other prices in that time frame. So you can see as we start moving up higher, we get into these shorter lines. These lines represent what is called the squeeze zone. And this happens to coincide with the gap because there is no volume traded here. This is a gap down, so we're not going to have any volume history, volume data. And so they call it a squeeze zone because price action is often accelerated through those areas because of the lack of competing buying and selling volume. If we start moving up into this in a very bullish fashion, there's no doubt about it, shorts are going to want to get out of the way, other longs are going to jump in because they're going to see this gap, and so the price action will move faster here than it is going to through here where it's been chopping around sideways. So that's how we use that tool to kind of help us determine where we can start expect to see some things pick up as far as activity goes. Okay, one name I'm excited about for next week, or for next Monday in particular, is JWN. This is Nordstrom's. I absolutely love shopping at Nordstrom. I don't know why. I'm my favorite store to shop at in the whole world. They're awesome. This thing has had a nice run up from the bottom here, $44 back in November. Had a very big 2016, 30% in 2016 alone. And now we're finally looking to roll over here. This is the first sign of divergence from the market. We have this big move up here, right? This thing's moved up while the market's been moving down. And then now today, the market finally broke that resistance at the 200 moving average, and this thing came in. So that tells me that this thing is ready to roll over here. Also happens to be just under this massive resistance area from this previous gap. Again, right, this is one of those examples where, in the case of the last chart we looked at, which was on, what was it, CSII? This is moving up because it's been consolidating under this gap for quite a while. It's been trading sideways here. So it's moving up, ready to fill the gap. JWN hasn't really traded at this area of the gap since way back here when it gave up the goods and sold off. It failed to break into the gap. Hasn't really tested this area at all. Instead, what it's done is in the last 2 months move up 30% and tap this area. Well, it's going to be extended at this point, right? There's not a lot of buying momentum that are going to be left. Everybody's jumped on this train to bring it from $44 to $56 in a couple months here, inside of a couple months. So it's a classic pattern of overextension. As it gets to the resistance spot here, we can expect it to fail. There's just no more buyers left in it, and the shorts are going to see that weakness come in, and that's what we're seeing here. We're seeing a rejection of that resistance. Profit takers say, okay, we're getting to this resistance spot. I'm going to jump out of this. Short sellers are going to see that. They're going to jump in, and so that's how we get rejection of resistance here. Looking for a move here down to, what did I put initially here? Short entry is going to be under 56. It's going to be under low of day. It's going to be candle under candle. There has not been a candle under candle on this stock since back in middle of February. Or late February. So this thing hasn't really made new lows to speak of. It's just kind of grinded higher. So we're going to wait until we get a new low. Oops, damn it. We're going to wait until we get a new low, and we're going to jump into this. Let me remove this one here. We're going to jump into this short, and we're going to ultimately look to write it down to the 53.15 area or so. It also happens to be where the 20 moving averages, this purple little line sticking up here, and we know that it's going to be support from back here and back here in November and December it acted as support, and once again it acted as resistance here in middle of February. So we always say, if you ever watch any of my other videos, you hear me say it every time, previous support will become future resistance, and previous resistance will become future support. This is previous support, and it became future resistance, right? It acted as support here, this thing bounced around over it, and then now it couldn't break up above it, tapped it right here, failed that area. That was also an earnings event, and then finally broke out above it, so we can expect it to work on the flip side. This is previous resistance will become support once again, just like it did back over here. So again, this is a strong stock. We're just looking to play the pullback here, grab a couple points off of it. I didn't check this one to see how liquid it is for options. I'll do that right now. And if options are your thing, it looks like it's plenty liquid for options. So you could take an April, you could do a bear put spread on this. Or you could do a bull call spread even. I'm not sure what the implied volatility is at, but either one of those is an alternative. I have a lot of traders that trade with us that are undercapitalized or have small accounts, and so I like to find names that give them opportunities to trade these same stocks in other ways. You can definitely short this by buying puts, buying a put, selling a lower put, or selling a, there's 4 different ways you could trade this thing to the downside, but the point is you have options on this. This is a good setup here. It's very similar to MAT. It's a trade we got in this week. I alerted a few days ago. Same kind of thing here, right? The market's moving higher. This thing's all-time high. Well, not all-time high, but the 52-week high is right here at 34.36. So as we approach this area, the market's moving up, and I expected it to fail resistance. We have this big gap, right, and this big uptrend here for the last few weeks. So I expected this to not be able to get through on much strength. It will eventually, but right now we're short because I expected to fail here. And then today, look, we have this great breakout in the market. The market's up 1.6%. on decent relative volume. And what's Mattel doing? Mattel's selling off, and it closed at low of day. Very bullish chart. Excuse me, very bearish chart right here, because not only did it fail to make new highs over this little top here, but instead it gave up the goods. So again, same scenario, profit taking. Short sellers see this resistance wall and they come in and they pounce on it. We're not looking to ride this thing down to zero. I'm just looking to take it down a couple points, right? Looking to make $1,000 on the trade, be awesome, and I'll be in and out of it. So this is just with a put spread here on this name, and let me go back to JWN. JWN, again, this is a great strong chart, very bullish, but we're just looking for the pullback here. We're not really going at this with much bias. We're just playing the technicals. You can look at this red dotted line at the bottom here. This red dotted line is our RSI, or relative strength index, and it shows that it's clearly up at the upper band of the overbought range. The blue line is the ATR, so that gives us an idea of how much it's going to move. It's got a $1.88 ATR, so we could lock up profits on this 1 day, 2 at most, maybe 3 days if we really get a strong move to the downside and maybe the market comes in or something. So those are the names on watch for tomorrow. IPHI, OI, CSII are all long. JWN is my short. I don't have any earnings plays set up for Monday. I will check the calendar. I know we have Nike coming up in a week or so. We have a few other companies that are gonna pop off here soon. So I'll set up some iron condors for those, the ones that I think are appropriate or have a decent chance, and we'll go forward. I check the earnings calendar every day. I just didn't see anything I liked for Monday. Okay, Josh N asked me, if you were doing a swing trade with a put, how far out would you buy with the intention of selling in 3 to 5 days? Good question. So let me let's see here. So let's pull up JWN is a good example here, right? Okay, so if we know that based on my watch list, we want to get short on candle under candle confirmation, right? We want candle under candle because we haven't had that for so long. We haven't had that bearish trend reversal. We've been in this bull trend for so long. So we get short at $56. Well, that's where I'm going to short the stock. So if I'm looking here, let's say we always want to go at least 30 days out if we're just playing a 3 to 5 day swing trade here, so that way we don't have to worry about time decay if something happens. We're looking 3 months out. So I'll look at the April monthlies on Nordstrom, JWN, and they don't have a $56 strike. They have, wow, I've never seen. They have a $57.65 strike. Hang on, I gotta refresh this. I don't know if this is right. I have not seen a 15-cent or a 65-cent strike before. $55.15. Never seen that, but the point is we're getting short at $56. So your options here are buying an in-the-money put at 57.5, or you can buy the $55.15 put, and you can go either way here. Personally, if I was going to do this to lock up the most profit and I had conviction in the trade, I'd probably buy the in-the-money put, the 57.5. It's going to be a little bit more expensive, but you're going to get a little bit more profit on it a little bit quicker than you would on anything that's out of the money. And it's going to come with intrinsic value and a higher delta, so it'll profit sooner. Of course, it will also lose money if the trade goes against you sooner. But again, if you're convicted in the trade, that's part of the risk. It's trading at 248 by 270, so I might throw a bid out depending on where it's at when this is getting near $56. Set an alert on your chart. Look at the 57.5 puts. They're 36 days till expiration, so they'll be 33 on Monday, and it'll probably be trading near $3 per put when this thing comes in. You have $3 of movement because it's already going to be in the money. Each put could probably net you, I don't know, $300 if the trade moves, down from 56 to 53. So you could make $300 per put. What you could also consider doing here, it would probably not be a bad idea, is maybe a put spread, or we buy the 57.5s and you could sell the 52.5s, and that would be a net debit of just about $2 per contract. So you might save $100 there. You won't make as much, but it'll be a little bit safer. And then the other option is you could go really, really safe and conservative. And you could do a bear call spread for a credit, and you could sell the 57.5s and then buy the 60s or something, and you'll end up with a net. Those are the call side. And you'll end up with a net credit of like 50 or 60 cents, and you'll have a really high chance of keeping all of that, but you're only going to make $60 per contract or per spread. So just depends on your risk tolerance there. If it were me personally, I'm only looking to trade this for 3 days. I would buy an in-the-money put and just buy it and then sell it when we reach our target, or when you have enough money. You probably buy a few of them. You'll tie up a few $100 more than some of the other ways. But if you don't have $50,000 to take 1,000 shares short of this, then that's the way to do it. So there are always alternatives. Hope that answered your question. MCNZ says, what's the most you would pay for it? I would probably not pay much more than $3. It's going to be $3.50 would be the max, I would say. Because it's already in the money, and if you get an entry at $56, the stock closed at $56.50, so it's going to be a 50-cent move. It's probably going to be a 50-cent move in the premiums also, close, because the delta is going to be near $1. So you can assume that it'll probably be $3.25 or so. I would not pay more than $3.50 for it. That's just too expensive. At that point, I might look to, if I'm going to do that, I'll do the put spread, and I'll sell a further out of the money put. It's just not worth tying up, that much percentage of capital, in my opinion, for what you're going to get out of it. Good question, guys. That's a good one. And and I'm even going to update my watch list here for our traders. So when I send this out, I'm going to put the alternatives that they can certainly do that. It's a good idea, because I know a lot of people, like I said, they're not going to want to hold 1,000 shares of a $50 stock over a couple days. It's, spend a couple $100 on options and make the same amount of money potentially is not a bad idea. So I'll put that out there. Thank you for bringing that up. Okay, if you guys have any other questions, enter them in the box here real quickly while I update this watch list, and then I'm going to head out to dinner. So let me know if you got anything else. Alright guys, have a good night. If you have any other questions, or if you're watching this on the playback, shoot me an email at jeff@warriortrading.com. Everybody have a great, safe weekend, and we'll see you next week.